Kolkata. The pandal has drawn inspiration from the under-construction Ram temple in Ayodhya that is going to be opening its doors to devotees in January next year. A report by the Climate Vulnerable Forum has revealed that India, Indonesia, the United Kingdom and Switzerland are the only major economies in the world that are on track to meet with their Paris Agreement goals by 2030. This report highlights a disparity in climate action, with major economies failing to account for their historical emissions or differentiate efforts between rich and poor countries. Indian Railways Rail Coach Factory has now unveiled a new AC1 coach. The concept design, which is aimed to offer comfort at par with business class of any airline that you take across the world. At present, in the first AC coach, one side is occupied by the berths while the other is the aisle area. In the new coach, in the new design, the aisle area has been moved to the center, making way for more compact coupes or berths. Travellers will get a panoramic window for both upper and lower berths, and the new AC first coach will be able to accommodate 30 berths instead of 24 that currently exist. The Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana has achieved another remarkable feat. In the first half of the current financial year, the total balance in these accounts is now increased by 30,000 crore. It has reached a landmark milestone of 2.05 lakh crore as of October 4th, 2023. The Ministry of Railways has generated a revenue of more than 66 lakh through disposal of office scrap during its Special Cleanliness Campaign 3.0. This started on the 1st of October. It will go on till the end of October. The Railways has a target of conducting 10,722 cleanliness drives till the end of this month. Now, let's take you through the biggest talking point and the big debate on the right stand tonight.
கேமா பார்க்குங்க என்று சொல்ல வேண்டிய ஒரு அருகதை உதயநிதி ஸ்டாலின் அவர்களுக்கு இல்லை என்பது என்னுடைய தாழ்மையான கருத்து.
Now, on Saturday gone by, billions around the world were glued to their television screens. They were watching the mother of all cricketing rivalries, the India versus Pakistan clash. India's emphatic victory made headlines. Everyone celebrated it around the world. But a video that went viral shortly afterwards has left a bitter taste for some people. Mohammad Rizwan, on whom many Pakistani fans pinned their hopes for their team's victory, was seen walking back to the pavilion as Jai Shree Ram chants were heard echoing in the background. A group of fans shouted Jai Shree Ram multiple times when a dejected Mohammad Rizwan walked back after being dismissed by Indian pacer Jasprit Bumrah. What happened next was criticism from unexpected quarters. Well, unexpected for the sportspersons, but perhaps not completely out of the blue, as it was politicians who really raised the hackles. All started by the DMK. Udayanidhi Stalin, a minister in Tamil Nadu, the sports minister in fact of the state, came out and was the first one to say that this is unacceptable behavior that we saw at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. That sentiment was then echoed by a few others as well. What then went viral was an image for a few days before the match. Mohammad Rizwan was seen offering namaz on field during a break in the match between Pakistan and Netherlands. The Pakistan wicketkeeper was seen offering prayers in the middle of the Rajiv Gandhi International Cricket Stadium in Hyderabad. But is this debate around jingoism one that stretched too far? Are actions of a few perhaps erroneously being attributed to an entire nation? And are conclusions being drawn about a certain political ideology driving it? Some even asked if this was a response to the man himself and that his acts in the past, and it's not really a generalized reaction to the entire team or of an entire nation. Before we open that up on the panel tonight, let me take you through what has transpired so far. Why this has taken a political turn is, like I pointed out, the DMK stepped in. War of words broke out between the BJP and the DMK. Udayanidhi Stalin Jr., as he's also known, came out and said that India is renowned for its sportsmanship, for its hospitality. To which Gaurav Bhatia of the BJP came out and said, reminding of the dengue, malaria and Sanatan Dharma remark that Udayanidhi Stalin had made in the past, that he really is the one who is spreading poison and there's absolutely no reason to bring politics into what transpired. Udayanidhi Stalin then went on to say that treatment to Pakistani players was unacceptable. It was a new low, is what he came out and said. The BJP promptly responded and reminded of the namaz that was being offered on field and asked why was the DMK silent then. Udayanidhi Stalin came out and said that sports should be a unifying force between countries. To which the BJP and the state president of Tamil Nadu, Annamalai, came out and said that Jai Shree Ram chants are not an insult to the Pakistani players. It's just the sentiment that was witnessed on field in the stadium that day. Udayanidhi Stalin then came out and said that using sports as a tool to spread hatred is condemnable. To which the BJP came out and said that these are just emotions. Udayanidhi Stalin must not comment on this, must stay out of it. That was the clear message that the BJP was trying to give. Now let me take you through some of the instances when Pakistani cricketers have brought in religion themselves. Not to say that 2 plus 2 or 2 rights, 2 wrongs make a right. But there have been times, and like I said right at the beginning, that perhaps this was about the man himself and not about the entire team or trying to target them. We've seen ugly politics around what has happened in the past. Let's take a look at some of these instances. Imran Khan, former cricketer, former Pakistani Prime Minister as well, back in 1982 had said that cricket with India is not just a game, it's jihad for Kashmir, a politically loaded statement. Then we had Rawalpindi Express Shoaib Akhtar back in 2020. He said that Pakistan will first capture Kashmir, then invade India for Ghazwa-e-Hind. He was a cricketer making political statements off the field, but we didn't see any outrage then. Waqar Yunus had to apologize in 2021 after he stated that Rizwan offering namaz between Hindus and his favourite part really of the match was the fact that he was there to offer prayers. So does religion have a place on the field? Should religion not be kept out? And why make this about a political party or dispensation? Why just not talk about sport? That's the big debate tonight.
Hello, Moto.
Joining me on this broadcast is Vice President of Tamil Nadu BJP, Narayan Tirupati, Tauseef Ahmed Khan, advocate and political analyst with us as well, and Advocate Vineet Jindal too joins us on this broadcast. He's the one who's knocked on the ICC's doors now for action against Mohammad Rizwan. But let me begin by asking Tauseef Ahmed Khan. These are actions of a few, perhaps an overzealous lot, as you would say, when these Jai Shree Ram chants were witnessed, were heard inside the stadium. Why make it political? Why link it to the political dispensation in the country?
No, we cannot say that it is a one-off incident. It is all over. It has been normalized, and that is the fear. You know, the hate has spread so deep into the society that we see all this. It has never been so. And if we look at the history, the sport, India and Indian people, the spectators at the stadium have always shown, this sportsman spirit and welcoming, especially if it is a host country. We are host country. We have always welcomed the foreign players on our soil. But yes, we have supported our team, and in fact, we have a right. If our team have not performed better in the past, we have shown our anger. The spectators in the stadium have shown their anger against our own team. But when it comes to any guest team, we have always shown ourselves as a civilized society.
Sure.
Not like a maniacs who passes these kind of comments. And what does it? What have they achieved? Please tell me. By doing all this, what have they achieved? And these kind of action has to be condemned. If you do not condemn it now, you're giving them a signal that okay, this is normal. This is normal in country. Going forward, there will be more such slurs.
But what is not normal about it? Why do you say this is hate? Why do you say this is hate being normalized in the first place?
No, because the kind of the kind of you see the narabazi, the slogan, and the kind of behavior, it has got nothing to do with the sportsman spirit. I can understand if someone makes a reaction about something unjust happening. For example, if there was a wrong decision by a third umpire or some incident which could in any way justify a public reaction. There's no such thing. Simply a batsman after getting out is going back to pavilion, and these comments are, what have you really achieved? Please explain. It's not that we have lost the game. We were winning. This became a one side. There's no match.
It was just this one set of fans, perhaps in the moment, caught up in the moment at how well India was doing, and that's really what it was all about. Where does hate come into the picture? That's what I'm trying to understand.
See, the more we say that no, this is not hate, then we are normalizing it. We are supposed, we have always, extended a very a good welcome to the host countries, to the guest players.
And the guest players and the guest team, in this case Pakistan, was also accorded that same welcome. If you've seen those visuals, those videos that have gone viral as well, when they arrived in Ahmedabad, they did get all of the welcome that everyone else got. There was absolutely no distinction being made.
The treatment of the by the spectators in Hyderabad Stadium and compare it with the Ahmedabad Stadium, we did not hear it. We did not hear such things in Hyderabad, but it has happened in Ahmedabad. So does it really suit the people of Ahmedabad to give out this kind of message? And surely such incidents will be condemned by any right-thinking person. Just take an example. We send our kids to school. If they play a game, and if they indulge in, if the parents there or the teachers there indulge in any kind of passing slang comments and all, would you tolerate that, or would you encourage them from doing that, or you would actively discourage them from doing it?
But this is not slang. That's exactly what I'm trying to understand. Why is this hate? It's not like abuses were hurled. It's not like slurs, and we've seen all of that. We've seen sledging happen on the cricket pitch and outside.
What is the relevance of the slogan?
Sure, you may question the relevance, Mr. Khan, but why do you call it hate is what I'm trying to understand. But I'll get in Narayan Tirupati as well.
This is the slogan used to lynch people. This is the slogan used for burning the churches, for the demolishing mosques, for lynching people, minorities and Dalits in India. It's a very controversial thing to do, and we cannot today simply come and say, oh no, what is the problem in this?
It's also a chant that many people in this country and outside use as a form of devotion, as a form of prayer. But Narayan Tirupati, come in. You wanted to make a point.
I strongly condemn Mr. Tausif A. Khan for saying that this is the word used for doing so many things in India. Then I think Mr. Tausif Khan would have seen what has happened in Israel when this, the terrorists, when they attacked Israel, they said Allahu Akbar. Does it mean that Allahu Akbar is a very bad word? Does it mean that it's a slang word? No. What is this? What is a war crime? When somebody says Allahu Akbar, that means that is great, and somebody says Jai Shree Ram.
We are talking about cricket match.
I have not interfered you, sir. I have not interfered you. Okay. The same Hyderabad match, there were chants saying that Pakistan Zindabad. Where were you? Did you comment on it? Did you condemn it? And now you are saying that Jai Shree Ram is a slang word. How can you say? More than 110 crores of people, it is in their veins, sir. Jai Shree Ram is a sentiment. Jai Shree Ram is a, emotion. There is nothing wrong in saying Jai Shree Ram.
Used in Gujarat for killing the Gujarat
sir, please, Mr. Tausif Ahmed Khan.
For killing Gujaratis in the 2002.
That is what I am saying. So your terrorists in Palestine, they have used the word Allahu Akbar. You mean to say that word is used to kill people? Do you mean to say that?
Did Pakistani players say Allahu Akbar? What nonsense.
But Indian players didn't say it either. It wasn't the Indian cricket team that said this. It was a few people, a 20-30 second clip that is now going viral on social media. Do you think that is the entire picture? Or the fact that this one section is representative of all of the fans that were there in the stadium and all of the country?
Poonam, the spectators behaved very well. They never spoke anything personal about a batsman or player, or even about any religion or about any country. We need to understand this. India is winning always. India-Pakistan match is special for the entire world. Throughout the world, Indians and Pakistanis definitely enjoy this match. They want to win because they feel that they are winning a war. That is it. That is what Imran Khan had also said. Where were you? And you are saying this word is a very slang word. How can you say Jai Shree Ram is there in more than 120 crores of people? And you casually, Mr. Tausif Khan, you say that it is a word used. Jai Shree Ram is there with everyone. We will say 100 times and 1,000 times and crores of times. How dare you say that? This is a word used for that. No. Then
You are
mean to
taking
say
things
that
out of
Allahu Akbar
proportion.
should
You
not
have not
No.
understood anything.
What you have said is that you mean to say that Allahu
Arey
Akbar should
Baba,
not be told in public.
people
You mean to
pray
say
in temple.
Jesus Christ should not be told in public. You saw it. In future, if you mean to say that Jai Shree Ram should not be told in public, then you vouch for it. You should say that Allahu Akbar or this Jesus Christ should not be uttered in the public. Do you mean to say that? I am for religious freedom. There is nothing wrong
All
in saying
right.
Jai Shree Ram.
You have shown
Everywhere.
what you guys
And
are.
you people are. I am
You
for
stand
freedom
in
of religion.
totally in
I
support
am for
of what
freedom of
happened in
speech.
Ahmedabad.
And
You are showing
trying to
Ahmedabad's
curtail
culture.
it. You are
You are
trying to
showing
curtail
your
the freedom
Ahmedabad's
of speech.
culture.
What do you have never seen any cricket match before? How many? They have told Indian dogs there. You know that? They have said, who is your father? In Pakistan they have asked. And now you are coming here and you are supporting the Pakistan team. What is this? It is shameful. It is shameful. that
You are
people
showing your
supporting
culture, sir.
these
It is
people.
up to you. You are
And
free to
what
do that.
culture? India is renowned for its culture. India is renowned for its
No, this is not
spirituality.
India's
India is
culture.
renowned for
Atiti
tradition.
Devo Bhava. That is India's culture. You may live in a different world. Ahmedabad may be living in a different world.
You don't want Jai Shree Ram. And you
Some
want
people
Pakistan
will
Zindabad.
come and
And
defame.
you want Pakistan
Some
Zindabad.
bad
And you
element.
want Pakistan
Some bad
Zindabad.
element will come and
Tausif
try to
Ahmed Khan
defame.
wants Pakistan
No,
Zindabad.
some bad
You want to
BJP
defame India.
elements will come
You
and
want to
defame
defame
India's
Jai Shree Ram.
Atiti Devo Bhava culture.
You are
Then we
spreading
must
hate.
speak against
You are
it.
spreading hate. You are spreading hate, Tausif Ahmed Khan. You are spreading hate. You are talking
Come on.
against Hinduism.
No,
you
listen,
are talking
listen.
about the majority
Madam,
of the
I think
people.
I
That
think
is
Sure.
what
we
you are
must talk
doing.
to you.
Yes,
and
Narayan
no personal
Tirupati, you
remark on
made
this.
your point. Mr. Khan, you just said, you were just trying to make in a point, get in a word. You were saying that some bad elements do not really say anything about the Atiti Devo Bhava culture that India has. So which one is it? Are they defaming the country? Is this a new law, or is this just one bad element or one section that seems to be perhaps out of its overzealousness has crossed the line, and that's about it? That's
No,
where it should
you
be.
see, you see. You and I all know.
They are killing
Mr.
thousands of
Tirupati,
people.
Sure,
we
Mr.
can
Tirupati, you
stop.
had your time. Mr. Tirupati, you had your time. Let Mr. Khan respond. I'll come back to you.
For killing so many
See.
people.
Sure, sir, I'll come
See,
back to you. Let
that
Mr.
is-
Khan have his time,
Don't
please.
spread hate here. Don't spread hate here.
See, Mr. Tirupati is also very well aware that one bad apple will spoil the entire basket, and therefore it was not like the stadium was giving this kind of treatment. It was some people.
That's it.
We know
Nothing wrong in
that, but
saying Jai Shree Ram.
those
What is
people
that word,
have
Jai
to
Shree Ram? Why
have
that
to
Jai
be
Shree Ram word
taught a
affects you?
lesson that look, this is not. This is an inappropriate behavior. Please do not indulge into it. Please do not normalize this.
Why should no?
Who
no,
decides this is inappropriate behavior, sir? Has Mohammad Rizwan raised an objection? Has anyone from the Pakistani side raised an objection? Has anyone from the PCB raised an objection? If they have an issue, maybe they should raise a complaint. Perhaps they too are seeing this the way it should be and the way it was, that it was just a few in the audience. There are few spectators who had come to watch the match, were in the moment so happy with what was happening as far as Indian team's victory was concerned, that they made these chants, and that's about it. If there was a bigger issue at play, maybe Mohammad Rizwan himself would have raised a question. Maybe the PCB would have raised a question. But I want to get in the other aspect of this as well, and which is why
right thing by not responding to it. No, I think it's in a sportsman spirit. They have not responded to it. It's a good way. If Indian team had received this kind of treatment, I would have expected Indian team to respond to spectators. The players should not.
Sure, or perhaps that they haven't approached a higher authority or haven't done anything about it, because there isn't really an issue to be made out of this. But stay on with me. Vineet Jindal also joining us on this broadcast. He's been patiently listening to both of you. And Mr. Jindal, you've written to the ICC because you've cited certain instances of Mohammad Rizwan specifically of why the ICC must act, because he's in contravention of the rules.
Look, the way, there's two different aspects. One is, it is not only about namaz, it is about Gaza, the win which has been dedicated by the Mohammad Rizwan on that day. So it is a namaz which is done in the field, cricket field, which is a sports place where every person, every player should left his religion out of it. But this person, just to show the whole world about his religion, about to showcase his religion, Islam, and after that, in another incident, he has dedicated his Pakistan win to Gaza. So the way he's predicted all this incident, by way of namaz and by way of dedicating his this win of Pakistan to Gaza, this is specifically with the specific reason. This is the reason behind it, to showcase his religion and to propagate the political issue. So the cricket or any sport should not be taken for a propagate any religion or any political issues. But it has been happened there. That's why I filed a complaint before the ICC, who has specific rules about it. We have, do you remember that in 2014, one England player has been punished for this purpose only, and he has been banned to wear a handband which is on which it has been written the Free Palestine has been written on that band, and that band has been banned. ICC has taken a stand upon this. Why not in this matter? In this matter, the ICC says that statement has made after the match, but the ICC rule says any statement or any issues which is raised during the whole international tournament should be taken care by the ICC rules. So I have made a specific request upon these two incidents to please look into the matter and take action against Mohammed Rizwan, because he is politicizing this sports, and he has disgraced the cricket, which is as for the Indian country, this is a religion for us. We are not go over there for Hinduism or Islam or any Christian. We are go there for cricket, to see the cricket. We have remembered the statement which is made by Waqar Yunis in past, that he has very happy when the same player, the same person do namaz before the 80 lakhs of Hindus and on the soul of Bharat. So this is really provocative and really defamatory for this reason particularly.
Sure.
So I have made a complaint before the ICC and requesting them to take action against him. Why not?
Sure. Tasir Ahmed Khan, would you then agree for a demand like this as well? If Jai Shree Ram is chanting that and what many say is heckling of Mohammed Rizwan wrong, then him offering namaz in the middle of the field is also, as per ICC rules, not the right thing to do. Should he then be pulled up for that as well?
No, these two incidents are different. If we are talking about rules which apply on players, yes, a player has to abide by the ICC rules. And if there are any violation, the board is within right to take action according to the rules. But one does not justify the other, and one cannot be used as a defense for the other. One is hooliganism and the other is a violation of a rule. One is normalizing hatred, and the other is a violation of the rule.
But
so,
who defines
yes,
what is hooliganism and what is spreading of hate and normalization of hate?
Normalization of hate is spreading of hate. You and I both know what is happening since 2014 onwards. Lynching is going on in the name of the slogan. Then people in South, minority communities have been attacked. In Manipur, we have seen what is happening.
But what has that got to do with this match and the chants that were raised in the stadium? What is the political link? That's the first question I asked you when we started this debate off as well.
The political link, because you have this slogan used everywhere, and it's the same pattern. It's the same kind.
It's also a slogan that is used by millions and billions of devotees, not just in India, around the world as well. Are you saying they're all indulging in hate when they raise those slogans, when they chant Jai Shree Ram?
No. You please do not act as if you do not understand the difference of using the slogan when it comes to prayers. When you use the slogan for prayers, that is different. Here you are using this as a provocation. You are using this as a abuse.
How is it a provocation? Narayan Tirupati, 30 seconds. I do not have much time on this debate, but Narayan Tirupati, 30 seconds.
Jai Shree Ram is in the life and breath of all the Indians in India. We need in the world. We should understand this. But here, my friend is spreading hate. My friend is spreading hate, and definitely, I'm telling you, the people in Ahmedabad never spoke about any religion or about any person. They said Jai Shree Ram. We can say crores and crores of time Jai Shree Ram. Absolutely no problem. Mr. Tausif Khan is trying to spread hate through this national channel, which is highly condemnable.
Sure. Vineet Jindal, last point to you before I have to end this debate. What action are you expecting against Mohammad Rizwan by the ICC?
He should be penalized. He should be penalized for at least 2-3 matches, and the message should be sent very clear that the ground of cricket cannot be used for any political or any religious purposes. He has been doing this act intentionally. That has been very much clear, and this particular person has doing this repeatedly. So this is an habitual offender of this. So this should be stopped, and this person should be penalized. You never seen any Hindu come and over there and starting chanting Hanuman Chalisa over there.
Sure.
So that would be accepted by the Mr. Khan if it has been done. So we are not talking about only namaz. Any religion cannot be spread taking
It's
this
not
kind
a
of
religious platform.
liberty. This is a
Sports
place
should
of
be
cricket.
kept above
That
all
sport
of
should be
it,
this.
and let that be the real message that comes out of this. But I thank you all, gentlemen, for joining us here on this broadcast on the right stand. We do have to slip into a very quick break here on this edition, but the war in Israel continues. We have seen positions of America perhaps soften, as many would say. We're also seeing the ground offensive that Israel is preparing for. What exactly is in store for West Asia, and has America's stand become a little more wishy-washy 1 week in, 10 days in fact? We'll discuss that after a quick break.
Hello, Moto.
אנחנו חיים פה בשדרות ואני שייך פה ועוד בשדרות.
All people fled from the city.
אנחנו פה. Yes. כן.
Most of the people have fled from the city. People have not even cleared this debris of the blast that happened on 7th of October mostly, and because most of the town is empty now, people have fled, so nobody is there to take care of the stuff, nobody is there to take care of the cleaning, and it looks like a weird vibe in this town. Everything is all good, houses are nice, streets are clean, but there is no one who is living here. It's a weird feeling walking in a town which could have been a very busy and normal and active place, but right now it's very nicely planned, well-built city with greeneries, clean streets and nice houses, but tragically there is nobody who is living right now here, and this is the town of Sderot, which was under heavy attack from Hamas terrorists on 7th of October. Of the thousands of rockets that were fired from Gaza targeting Israeli cities, many of them fell in the city of Sderot also. Ashkelon was also another city. Ashdod was the city when those who were attacked, and those are nearer to the Gaza Strip. These are the remnants of what is left, what had happened on the day when this attack happened on the city of Sderot. There's an eerie vibe in the entire town. When we see this ghostly town, nobody around, and it wears a very the city wears a look that is of a utopian world where the city is built, nobody's there. Behind me, what you are seeing is those JCB machines are clearing the debris of 7th of October when the entire region or the entire locality was taken hostage by the Hamas terrorists. The police station, which is now in rubble, was also taken hostage by these terrorists, and about 20 to 30 people from the city.
Welcome back. You're watching The Right Stand. It's day 10 of the Israel-Hamas war, and Israeli defense forces continue to bombard Gaza in a bid to flesh out Hamas terrorists. The number of casualties are increasing on both sides. But today, what caught our attention is the United States' stand on this entire war. Ever since the conflict broke out in the first terror attack last Saturday, the Biden administration underlined its public and fulsome show of support for Israel. Even coffers of the country were offered to Israel as far as military support went. US's two most senior national security officials, the Secretary of State Antony Blinken and the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, visited Israel. They assured Benjamin Netanyahu of complete support. Amid all this, Joe Biden, in a diplomatic shift, has now cautioned and warned Israel from taking over the Gaza Strip. Biden has come out and emphasized the need for Palestinian Authority and the path to state. So let's take a look and let's bring you up to speed to what the US's stand has been 10 days into this war. Let's take a look at first what the United States said. They said that Israel has the right to defend its people, going on to say that any action that was taken against Hamas was justified. Then, as ground offensive talks started, Biden came out and said that it would be a big mistake for Israel to occupy Gaza and they must not make that mistake. The United States had warned any party seeking advantage now. They had said that this is not the time. Terror should be condemned and should be acted against. Now, they're coming out to caution to say that Hamas does not represent all of Palestinians, and that is how it should be seen. So Palestinians that are caught there in the crossfire must also be heard, and their say must also be taken into account. First, the United States said that Hamas terrorists are worse than ISIS. It's perhaps the same stand that they have even now, but now they're going on to talk about rights of Palestinians and how that must be protected as well. Something that we haven't seen the United States really talk about up until now, even though we're 10 days into the war. It seems like the United States is adopting a balancing act when it comes to Israel and Palestine and the issue at hand. Amid the war, Joe Biden, United States President, made multiple calls to the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, extending support. Biden said that Israel has the right to defend itself. In a first call to the Palestinian president, Joe Biden then backed humanitarian aid for Gaza. Blinken and Austin's visit in Israel was a show of support of the United States. In a bid to end war, Blinken, after meeting Benjamin Netanyahu, met the Palestinian president as well. The United States sent aircraft carriers to support Israel in war. The United States is also in talks with Egypt to open the Rafah border to allow aid to Gaza, because we saw the kind of devastation that was wreaked there, the kind of havoc that was wreaked there, and the civilians that were caught in the crossfire. Now, in Israel's bid to crush Hamas, United States has offered Israel its military support. We've seen financial aid coming in. We've seen the aircraft carrier, USS Gerald Ford, which is the largest warship ever built, that can carry up to 90 aircraft. That was deployed by the United States. USS Dwight Eisenhower, a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier which has been directed to move to the eastern Mediterranean to ensure that all flanks are protected as far as Israel and West Asia is concerned. 5 guided missile cruisers, US Normandy, US Thomas Hardner, US Ramage, US Roosevelt and USS Carney were also then pushed forth. The United States pushing all of this to the aid of Israel against Hamas, the terror group. Fighter jets have been deployed as well. F-35, F-16, F-15, the A-10 Thunderbolt II also all pressed into action for Israel and its fight against terror. We've seen all of these fighter jets that can survive, that in accuracy, they are great as far as delivery platform is concerned. All of them have now been pressed into service. So what exactly is the United States' stand? What exactly is the message that they're trying to send here? Let me open that up. Joining us here on this broadcast is Hino Klink. He's a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for East Asia. Shani Moore, lecturer at the Reichman University, joining us live from Tel Aviv as well. And let me begin by asking Mr. Klink. Many would suggest that there seems to be now, 10 days into the war, a balancing act that the United States is trying to maintain. You know, for the last 1 week, 8 days, all we heard about was Israel's war against terror and how Israel had the right to defend itself. All of a sudden now, we see the United States talking about the cause of the Palestinians as well.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Let me say very clearly, America stands with Israel. Let there be no doubt in anyone's mind that the number one policy priority for the United States is to provide Israel with all support possible, whether it's military, diplomatic, political, and economic. Full stop. Now let me add some nuance. Some of the things that you cited, quite frankly, are not mutually exclusive. We expect and quite frankly support Israel's military actions against the terror group of Hamas. Hamas does not equal Palestinians or Palestine. Palestine and the Palestinians do not equal Hamas. There will be, in my opinion, a counter-offensive, ground offensive into Gaza to rid the Gaza, the territory of Gaza and the Palestinians living there of the scourge of Hamas, under which they suffer as well. But no one should try to equivocate their support for Israel now, a week plus after the horrific atrocities we saw that Hamas committed. Additionally, the American forces that are being deployed into the Eastern Mediterranean and other parts of the region are meant to deter opportunistic attacks from both non-state and state actors, specifically Hezbollah and Iran. These forces are not supporting or acting in coordinated fashion with the IDF, but they are meant to send a clear message that if any state or non-state actor wants to take advantage of the fight that Israel has on its hands now against Hamas, that the United States will back Israel.
Sure, but many political analysts, policy analysts, not just in the United States but around the world as well, have often believed that United States really has glossed over the moot point, the moot issue as far as the Israel-Palestine issue is concerned, which is why we're also now seeing Joe Biden come out and say that Israel should not control or have any long-term territory control as far as Gaza or Palestine is concerned. Would you agree with that or would you disagree?
I think the U.S. has a long history of supporting legitimate representatives of the Palestinian people. As you yourself reported, Secretary Blinken is traveling throughout the region. President Biden spoke with Mahmoud Abbas as well. And the American government actually provides financial assistance to the Palestinian Authority as well. The conflict that's been going on in the region has been going on for a long, long time. There are no simple solutions. I think we all agree to that. But all that being said, let's not forget what happened 10 days ago. No justification for that whatsoever. And Israel has every right to defend itself and to ensure that such heinous attacks, primarily on civilians, will never be able to be launched from Gaza again.
Absolutely, and I want to get in, Shani, more as well as far as this war that seems to be going on there. It's been 10 days in, and now we know that Israel is preparing for a ground offensive. We do not know yet when that is going to happen, what the gravity or the scale of it is going to be. But that brings us to what we're debating here tonight. Given that there is no certainty of where this may go and for how long this may drag on for, is that why do you think perhaps this cautionary word has come in from the US president of Israel not controlling Palestinian territory or controlling Gaza?
I think that the US administration understands that there's pretty much nothing at this point that can stop a massive Israeli ground operation in Gaza. And the presence of both the naval forces that you described and the air forces that you described, as well as the balancing rhetoric, are geared to the larger American goal of containing it. The U.S. is not going to solve Israel's problems in Gaza or in the West Bank if it comes to that. But what's crucially important for American interests is to keep it, however awful this war is, contained to those theaters alone. so that the import of the aircraft carrier that you mentioned, or any of the other large American military presence, is not because it could have a direct kinetic role in any operation in Gaza. It's rather to deter any opportunistic regional actors, principally from Lebanon, Syria, or Iran, from jumping in and expanding this war, even making it even larger. Viewed that way, the statements that you juxtaposed one next to the other don't actually contradict each other very much. I think they represent a very consistent American policy of support for Israel on the side in its battle right now in Gaza, without any American commitment to get involved and no Israeli request for such an involvement in any way, and a presence in the region that should hopefully deter any other actors from taking advantage of the situation.
Sure, but I would like to ask you the same question that I asked the other panelist as well, Mr. Klink as well, that do you think, as many experts, many analysts would believe, that the United States has used this issue or used its stance on the two-state solution as per their convenience, and that they really have glossed over the actual issue at hand?
I don't think that the United States can force two states and two parties that don't want them. The investment of American administrations from the 1970s right up until today in seeking a negotiated settlement to what we used to call the Arab-Israeli conflict and now tend to call the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is huge, enormous, in both time, attention, and treasure. There's only so much you can do. There are aspects of this conflict, in particular one aspect, the total Arab rejection until very recently, and the continuing total Palestinian rejection of any kind of substantive reconciliation with the existence of a Jewish state in the region, that make even the greatest American investment in peacemaking ultimately powerless in terms of forcing a solution. There's not much that can be done. What this administration has invested greatly in, and in a certain sense continued efforts that were already underway in the previous administration, however differently emphasized they were, is in trying to bring out some kind of regional reconciliation, particularly between various traditionally pro-American Arab allies. That, I think, is what concerned the United States' greatest enemy in the region, Iran, the most, and that goes at least some way to explaining how pro-Iranian actors in the region have seen this as an opportunity to launch this kind of conflict.
But where exactly are we headed, and how is this going to end? Mr. Klink, do you see a solution in sight?
Not a long-term solution, no. I think a short-term solution, and I think we need to, display some strategic patience here. I think in the short term, Israel will go into Gaza and destroy Hamas. I think that's a short-term objective, and that's a viable objective and a reasonable objective. Long-term solution, peace in the Middle East. We've all been working on this for generations. I don't think it's a coincidence, to be perfectly candid, that this attack occurred as Israel and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia were on the cusp of a peace treaty. We've seen other success during the Trump administration, the Abraham Accords, and of course during the Carter years, the Camp David Accords. So peace is in fact possible, but it requires a counterpart to Israel, a leader who is willing to make peace. Egypt found that in Anwar Sadat. And it was a bloody road to get to peace. I do not see a specific roadmap in front of us today. I'm hopeful when organizations such as Hamas are destroyed that there might be, I don't know, a new generation of Palestinian leaders that will come to the recognition and realization finally that if they really care about their own people, that they will have to come to some sort of peace agreement with Israel, and of course on the Israeli side as well. America and others can certainly act as intermediaries, but at the end of the day, it's the people on the ground that have to make those efforts. But in the short run, I do not see it happening.
And we've seen, like you mentioned, several of these accords that have been signed, several of the deals or attempts that have been made. And really, there have been times when either sides haven't held up their end of the bargain, which is why we see what really has happened here. But Shani Moore, I want to ask you this as well, and not to draw direct comparisons with what's happening in Ukraine. But when we saw that happen a year and a half ago, last year, nobody would have imagined it would drag on for this long. Are we seeing a similar situation perhaps as far as Israel's onslaught against Hamas is concerned, which many would suggest that it's not really an onslaught just on Hamas, but on the entire Gazan population?
You've asked several questions there in one. I think that people who couldn't imagine that it would drag on so long couldn't imagine it because they assumed there would be a rapid Russian victory, which there wasn't. So it was just the outcome that was confusing people and not the amount of time. I suspect that in this case, even the best case scenario is truly terrible. It's a huge and dirty and bloody ground campaign in Gaza that could take time and will be full of surprises and disappointments, even for the Israeli side, which is obviously much better armed, better equipped, and clearly very determined now to eliminate this threat. That's the best case scenario. The scenarios get worse and worse the more it expands. If it is not limited just to an Israel-Gaza war, but becomes an Israel, Gaza, and West Bank war, that's a bit more complicated, but still within the realm of things that the IDF has shown that it's capable of doing quite easily. If it becomes a Israeli-Palestinian war together with a war with Hezbollah in Lebanon, that's already an entirely different ballgame. I think that's why you're seeing this American presence in the Eastern Mediterranean. And if of course, it becomes a multi-state war involving not just Lebanon, but also actual state actors like Syria and even in the worst case, Iran, to say nothing of other regional actors as well, then we're really talking about something that is destructive on an order of magnitude that the region hasn't seen in decades.
It's really the innocent, unarmed civilians that are often the biggest losers when we see such kind of situations evolve. They are perhaps the worst affected ones, and for their sake, we really do hope that there is a solution in near sight. But I thank you both, gentlemen, for joining us here on this broadcast with your perspective. The ground operation in Israel, the ground operation against Hamas continues. Israeli troops are continuing to gather, and they're only fortifying themselves as far as the Gazan border is concerned. An expected ground offensive is going to begin. We do not have a timeline yet, but it is coming. That's the assurance that Israel and the IDF have now come out. In fact, a deadline was set to ensure that all civilians have moved southward as well. CNN's Nick Norbertson gets us a track of what exactly transpired across at the historical context of what has happened and why we're at this stage.
Close to Gaza, preparations underway for a much anticipated ground offensive. Troops from different units training together. There is an urgency here. They have to be ready fast.
Right now, this is a rehearsal. If and when there's an incursion, these troops could be at the front of it. Tanks, or for this practice, model ones right now, followed by infantry and combat engineers. A combined force spearheading an incursion.
If they do, Major Ofek will be near the front.
We expect to go to war. We expect to destroy the terrorist organization Hamas, kill its government, and kill every last terrorist. That's what we plan to do, and that's how it will be.
The last time the IDF went into Gaza targeting Hamas's leaders was 2014. Ariel Bernstein was 21 in the Special Forces, one of the first to cross the border.
You're just afraid that there is something waiting for you at every corner.
But his experiences then have left him questioning the tactics today. Back then, he says, the IDF warned civilians to leave and Hamas told them to stay, just as is happening now. But some had stayed. His orders, he says, assume the civilians had left.
So whoever you see is basically engaged in fighting or is involved in fighting, and therefore we call it engaging with fire with any home you enter, with any kind of shape of a person that you see from afar.
In many ways, Israel's actions are playing out just as they have in the past. 2021 gun positions freshly dug, back in use. And in Gaza, the civilian death toll, according to Palestinian health officials, already higher than in 2014. And like then, Israel is already facing huge international pressure to avoid more civilian casualties.
What we are doing is saying privately what we've said publicly, which is that all military operations should be conducted consistent with law of war, that civilians should be protected.
The problem the IDF says it faces, just like 2014, Hamas will be hiding among civilians.
The whole situation we're talking about with Gaza and civilians forcibly embedded is another element of Hamas. Hamas has to be fully defeated.
So the responsibility is on them and not you?
The responsibility is on Hamas for their own civilians. Our responsibility is to eliminate Hamas's capabilities completely.
Major Ofek, pausing during training in a mocked-up Palestinian town, says they don't hurt innocents, only terrorists, but admits if he is sent into Gaza, avoiding civilian deaths won't be easy.
Do you think it's possible though to fight Hamas without civilians getting injured?
We're concerned with overthrowing the Hamas regime and killing the terrorists who are currently in Gaza. If it will be difficult, it will be difficult. Not easy.
Many thousand lives have been lost on both sides. The casualty, unfortunately, is only increasing. There's uncertainty that looms over many families who are still awaiting news of their loved ones who were taken hostages. Listen in to their tales.
And I asked why? Why? Because we're Jews? Why? If we're Jews, you need to burn a baby. It's okay to kidnap women and post it on a video when you tied her on a car and led her because she's kidnapped, because she's a Jew? Is it human to kidnap children and torture them? They're children. The world should see this crime. And it should be shocked and it should be realized. They should condemn it. They will be on the wrong side of the history. If not, it's not justification. There is no justification to murder innocent civilians. And Hamas must be stopped because Hamas is not a movement. It's not a government. It's a terror organization. And you should see it in your eyes to understand it's a terror organization.
And they snapped my two boys out of their bedroom and dragged them into Gaza. The last thing I heard was my youngest, who's only 12, saying, "I'm too young, don't take me." And they took them. And I've heard nothing about them since. It feels like founder. It feels unreal. It still feels unreal. I feel like I'm in a bad dream. Must wake up at a certain point. The dream just goes on and on.
With that, it's a wrap from my side here on this edition of The Right Side. Zaka Jacob joins you next.
Six p.m. Saying it like it is. Without fear or favor. Plain speak. 7 p.m. when the facts speak for themselves, just like that. The hard facts. 8 p.m. where India comes first. Always. The right stand. 9 p.m. where the big stories are simplified. Bite by bite. Gross tax. 10 p.m. Worldview. Indian Insight. Vantage. News 18 Prime. Weeknights 6 to 11.
Including policemen in the police station. Several of the Hamas terrorists, about 20 of them, were also killed during the hours of gunfight that ensued following the attack of terrorists in the city. And as we have seen, the entire town has no citizen, only the reservists, the people, the police, security personnel, or some of the media persons have been around this place covering the story of tragedy, the trail of destruction. And the entire beat you would see for 100 meters there is not a single person that is visible, and entire town, buildings, hospitals, education institutes, centers of activity, everything is empty, everything is vacated by the people of Sderot. So we are joined by Adna, and she is 71-year-old. She is one of the few who has not left the city of Sderot, which has been under attack in the last 7 days. We have seen, like on 7th of October, there was a massive massacre, a rampage of Hamas terrorists, which went on for hours in the city. And after that, security forces have taken hold of the city, but many of the civilians, almost entire civilian population, has fled from the spot. Ma'am, you are still here, so why didn't you go?
I didn't go because I trust to the God help us, the God love us, and we are the hero, not the Hamas. Because the Hamas are very bad people, and the God don't like bad people.
So you had your family here who used to live here?
No,
So
this is the house of my father and my mother.
Okay.
They dead, so I live there.
Okay, so most of the neighborhood people have fled?
Yeah.
Where have they gone?
They gone to Eilat, Tel Aviv, Dead Sea.
Okay, so aren't you scared of living here alone?
No, really no, because I trust the God. The God love the people. They good, not bad.
Many of the Israelis have very fond connection with India, and many of them know India very well. She's also very fond of Hindi movies. What movies do you like, ma'am?
Sangam.
Sangam.
Yeah.
Okay, could you sing
I never forget it.
Okay, so when did you watch Sangam?
Sangam in Sderot, in the cinema, yes.
Which year?
About 30 years, maybe 30 years.
And you still remember the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. And talking about India, if you like, the Indians also lived in Sderot?
Yeah.
How many Indians in Sderot?
About 4 families.
3-4 families. They have also fled?
Yeah.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. There is huge controversy both on and off the cricket pitch about Jai Shree Ram slogans being chanted in the face of Pakistani cricketer Mohammad Rizwan after he got dismissed and he was walking back to the pavilion in the India-Pakistan marquee clash that happened in Ahmedabad this past Saturday. Now, critics have argued that this is unsportsmanlike behavior, that this is not hospitable, it does not show India or the venue, in this case Ahmedabad, and the crowd that had come there in any nice fashion or a hospitable light, and that this is a political slogan